Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and it is our first card review for the latest expansion Titans, which will be going live on August 1st. We had our big hype announcement video on it, announcing Titans, where we're giving away 2 regular pre-orders, 2 mega bundles out of my pocket. All you have to do is like and comment on the video, description below, be subscribed to the channel. Every 1,000 subs we add another mega bundle, so make me go broke, but I've gone through the card mechanics, how everything works. This might be just one of the most powerful sets ever. It just looks crazy, and there are a lot of cards to go over, so let's do that. And this was one of the ones we quickly showed off. Embrace of Nature, a druid nature spell, which has the new keyword forge. So it's like tradable where you drag it to your deck. However, it will cost you 2 mana. So basically, you choose 1 card for 1 mana, or you can forge this, where it has both effects combined. So you forge it, you will then spend 2 mana to do that. You get the card back immediately. It's not like tradable, where you shuffle it into your deck, or put it into your deck. You get it right back, and then you can spend that 1 mana to choose 1 card that has both of its effects combined. So 3 mana total to do that. How good is that? Well, you could tutor out just like Nourish, right? For 3 mana, tutor out Nourish, and then you draw 3 cards, gain 2 mana crystals. Attorney at Maw, you could silence and immune. There are some implications for this. It's more draw, and again, getting the double effect can be very powerful. And I don't know, like it would work with Malfurion the Pestilent and Wild, where you get the 1/5 scarabs and the poisons. It's like Fandral, right? You get the Fandral effect on whatever card you draw. Doesn't need to be spell, could be spell, hero power, minion. All that seems decent. You know, you can just play it as a 1 mana draw one. That's fine too. You don't even have to forge it. Drawing a specific card for 1 mana is not terrible. I will give this a 3 out of 5 in standard and wild. A tutor effect for something relatively powerful and, you know, nature spell flexible seems like a pretty good card. I just don't know if you're gonna have time to forge cards, right? Like spend that 2 mana, because yes, it will cost 2. I made sure of that so we could try to do a somewhat accurate review and not have another Zeddy fails. And then we have the first Titan. So the legendaries I showed off in the hype video weren't Titans. They were the other style of legendary. There's a battle cries. This is Titan. So basically what it works, it says after this uses an ability, summon a 5/5 ancient with taunt. So no matter what, you play this, a 5/7, you are able to use one of its abilities. And as shown off in the reveal video, these are the abilities for the minion. You can draw cards until your hand is full. And you can do that immediately. You can use that ability immediately when you play it. So you're basically always guaranteed to get one of these absolutely ridiculous things. You can restore your hero to full health. It's Reno Jackson for 10 mana, and you also get a 5/5 taunt. Don't forget, right? It says after it uses ability, you get a 5/5 taunt. You get a 5/7, a 5/5, ridiculous, and then you can also just refresh your mana. So you have 10 mana or whatever and get to play out your hand. Seems like just an absolutely broken card, and what Druid is doing right now with all their, you know, their ramp and their big scams with death rattles, I don't know why you wouldn't play this card. It just seems unbelievably broken to me, where I'm giving this a 5 stars in standard, probably like a 4 or 3 in wild, because stuff is a little bit too fast there, but you can like alignment and stuff and do crazy things. I just don't know how this card's not broken. Even though it's 10 mana, Druid can ramp, they can nourish, they can do all sorts of insane stuff. This gives you heal, it gives you taunt, it gives you cards. Just seems like one of the best Druid legendaries ever. I don't know what else to say. Absolutely bonkers card. And then we have the Hunter card here. Was it called an Aspect? I can't remember. Anyways, Ho Dear Father of Giants. So it's an 8 mana 8/8. Just comes with a battle cry. It's not a Titan card like I thought. I was kind of confused there. Set the stats of the next 3 minions you play to 8/8. So you play this, and then you can just summon a charger. Like a cheap chart, they don't really exist. You summon Huffer, right? You get Huffer, it's an 8/8. But any minion, any little token becomes an 8/8. I don't know, in wild, with like Warpletinger, where it's like it summons a copy of itself, you probably get 2 8/8s. Really slow in wild, probably not playable, but in standard, where you have a lot of like big beast synergies, a lot of greedy strategies going on, it might work out. But at the end of the day, you're playing a lot of big minions at that point. You're playing like your weapon, and you're doing Lorthamar. Maybe you don't need it, but I could see this in like a greedy style hunter deck. Just getting 3 little like your barrel of monkeys, right? 3 barrel of monkeys become all 8/8s. That's incredible, right? That's 3 8/8 taunts. It's just slow. You play this, it's just an 8 mana 8/8. Do nothing, right? So it's got that risk. I will give it a 3 because I do think the effect is relatively powerful. 3 in standard, but in wild, I'll give it a 2 where I think that is way too slow. Next, we have a Mage mech. So more mech mage support, possibly the Inquisitive Creation, a 4 mana 3/4 mech. Deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. Improved by each spell school you've cast this game. So it's a one-sided AoE. It doesn't hit your own stuff. And this is more of like a control style card. There is a lack of AoE, although they did get Shooting Star recently, which is an incredible card. But if you get 2 spell schools, this is deal 3 to all enemy minions. So a Frostfire, Arcane, those are the most common mage spells types. So this is more of like a control-ish mage card. I don't see this going into mech mages where you only really play like Seafloor, Savior, whatever I don't remember what it's called. The 3 mana draw spell, which I don't even think has a spell school. I could be wrong on that. Regardless, I don't think it's that amazing. I feel like it's more just like a mid control style card. But if you're running a lot of spell schools, I guess why not, right? Like just getting 2 is worth. 2 is worth. So maybe like a Skeleton Mage, a Renathal Mage, some type of a greedier control mage might run it. I'll give it a fringe 3 in standard, where it's definitely possible, but I'll give it more of like a 2 in wild. And you can generate this as a random mech as well from the Frigiboy, you can also get that. We have Norganon, an 8 mana 3/8 Titan. After this it's a Mage Titan. After this uses an ability, double the power of the other abilities. So this will double and then double. So as seen here, we have the Mage Titan abilities. You could deal 5 damage initially to whatever you want. Then I'm guessing it goes to 10. Does it go to 20 after that? Like that can't be right. I would think it goes to 10 and then 10, but that's quite terrifying. No, as seen in the video, it absolutely will quadruple, and you can deal 20 damage. The minion has to survive, by the way. If the minion doesn't survive, you don't get the payoff. So there is that downside, of course. But yes, the abilities here, we'll take a quick look. Deal 5 damage initially. Enemies cards cost 1 more next turn. So all cards, not just spells, all that. And cast 1 random mage secret. So not amazing, but if you can get this to stick around, it can become incredible. The problem is it's just a 6 mana 3. It's got taunt. You have to kill it, but it doesn't have the mech. You can't give it stealth or whatever. It seems a bit slow. Not so much slow, but just vulnerable to really get that payoff, because you really need that double ability. I'm not completely sold on it, but you play the disruption like right away, let's say, example. That's pretty good, right? Like their whole hand is more expensive. Then you could like cast 2 secrets. Maybe it protects your minion, and then you deal 20 damage. And point it at a minion just to say lol. But regardless, Mark will make a good OTK out of it. I'm gonna give it the Titans look too cool. I'm gonna give it a 3 just for maybe the possible, like dealing 5 is fine, right? And then maybe you just cast 2 secrets, or you go from there, right? Like it's got versatility. I can't say it's not great, but the Druid one just looks way sexier. So that means the Druid one will suck, the Mage one will be OP. I'll give it a 3 out of 5 in standard, a 2 out of 5 in wild. But the fact that it does need to stick around makes me a little bit a little bit more pessimistic about the card. This was another card we already talked about, Noble Minibot, 2 mana 2/3 mech. It has a magnetic. After this attacks, give a random minion in your hand +1/+1. So important to note, you have a mech on the board, you magneticize, it'll count as attacking right away. So it kind of has like rush/charge immediately as long as another mech is on the board. It gives a hand buff, snowball effect, pretty good. There is a card in standard for mechs as well as wild, which is really good in wild. The whole radar thing, right? Where you draw 5 mechs for 2 mana. maybe it'll bring that to standard, right? That is a meta-defining card right now in Wild. And I don't know if a card like this in the more mech support could. I will give this a 3 out of 5 in standard and Wild. This is good in Wild for sure, where you can just slap this onto something, hand buff even more. Really solid card. Actually, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 in Wild, because Mech Paladin is even better there. So 3 in standard, 4 in Wild, which we don't see me rate too often. Next, we have Tyr, another legendary minion for Paladin. So this is just Battle Cry. This is not like I thought the Titan, where you get to pick over time. It's purely Battle Cry. 7 mana, 4/5. You resurrect a 2, 3, and 4 attack Paladin minion. Pure Paladin, probably, right? You can get your Leviathan back. You could get that mech back we just took a look at. Just a bunch of stats, and a lot of it could have Divine Shield depending on what you're playing. It seems solid. It's just a bunch of stats. You got to kind of build around it possibly to make it more like, you know, when you play it, it's just not dead stats. They have rush or taunt or whatever, but I could see this working out. It just, that deck is pretty at the top end, pretty refined right now, and it would have to take the cut of like probably like an Akrados, which is just proactive, a Leviathan, which is proactive. Curious to see. I will give it a 3 just for the mass amount of stats you're going to be getting with this is a lot. And Paladin likes to dump stats. It's something they like to do. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 in standard, a 2 out of 5 in Wild, where I think it is too slow. We have the Spiderer, the 3 mana 3/4 mech beast for Rogue, magnetic stealth for 1 turn. So you can just slap this onto another mech. It gets stealth right away. There's literally no synergies I could think of this in Rogue at the moment, other than like the mech that does like 4 damage to enemies, right? Randomly combo. I'll give it a 2 out of 5 in standard and Wild. I don't see, unless there's like a crazy mech support coming, I just don't see why you're playing this in Rogue at the moment. We have Forge of Wills. This looks like a Warlock location. The artwork is amazing. 3 mana location, 2 durability. You choose a friendly minion, summon a giant with its stats, and rush. What the heck does that even mean? So as seen in the video, basically you copy whatever minion you have and it becomes that, a giant with its stats. So we saw it was a 4/8, it became a 4/8 with rush. So you could play this in like a big deck where you can like scam a bunch of stats. Kind of goes into that, you know, the deck we already see that they're showing here, the undead Warlock. You could also do shenanigans like Void Caller, things like that. Allows you to fight for board. I don't know how good this is. Like Warlock is struggling with that style, but obviously they're going to be getting more support. Rush is powerful, and it's, you know, we saw with the Deathlight location, although that was like guaranteed 4/5 for 3 mana on just anything. I think it could be solid. I'll give it a 3 out of 5 in standard and Wild. It has possibilities, but again, it really depends on what Warlock is doing. And right now it's struggling to do much of anything at the moment. We have a neutral minion here, just kind of showing off what Forge does. A 3 mana 3/3 rush. So again, we're power creeping up 3/3 rushes. Forge gain +3/+2. So for 5 mana, all of a sudden you have a 6/5 with rush, right? You spend the 2 mana to forge it, you get it right back. It's a 6/5 with rush. It's an arena card. I will give it a 2 out of 5 in standard. And actually, let's just give it a 1 in both formats. You're not playing it in either format, I can't imagine. We also have Fate Splitter, a neutral epic. 3 mana 3/3 Death Rattle. Get a copy of the card that killed this. This is kind of hard to manipulate, but you could get an AoE, you could get a removal spell, you could get a minion, you could get whatever, right? But it's hard to control these type of cards. I just don't see being valid. You could play it in Warrior and Wild and like provoke onto it, and the minion that kills it, you'd probably get a copy. There's a Mark combo for you. But I'll probably give it a 2 out of 5 in standard and Wild just for the silliness of it, but I don't see it being a meta relevant card. We have the free card that's in the game right now. Apparently you can't play it in Twist. What? Prison of Yogg-Saron, 7 mana, 3 uses, choose a character, cast 4 random spells, targeting possible. Really slow. It's 7 mana, but the effect can be 4 Pyroblast to the face. I'm giving it a 3. I don't care. Every Yogg style card has seen play, right? Puzzle Box, the Yoggs, Oh My Yogg, almost everything has always seen play that has Yogg in it. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5 in standard and Wild. Just don't have it get demolition renovated because you will be sad. And then last we have the Son of Hodir, an 8 mana 8/8. Hey, is that the giant card that we had teased? I don't think anyone's winning that giveaway if that's the giant card. Shuffle 4 8/8 giants into your deck that are summoned when drawn. So you shuffle, it's just, yeah, you shuffle 4 8/8s. You'll probably be like the cast when drawn style tokens, and you get a bunch more 8/8s. So you need to play cycle heavy deck, and you get a bunch of giants. These cards rarely see play. Only Rogue really saw play where they could actually tutor this style of stuff. I'll give it a 2 out of 5 in Standard and Wild. I guess that's the giant card. We'll have to go back to that giant video and see if anybody guessed a card that would shuffle giants, but we can also wait and see. Maybe there'll be more giants coming, and I believe that is all the cards. So that's our first review. The set looks incredibly powerful, and there will be more reveals and all of that, but not until July 3rd. So we have like over a week or next week until card reveals start, and they will be going all the way up until July 23rd, where we will cover absolutely everything, but that's when the giveaway time will end. July 23rd is when it ends, so get in that giveaway, and let me know what you think about the cards, and I'll have a patch notes video up soon, and then we'll start, you know, streaming our Twitch action for Twist. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.